For thousands of years, the Nile River has been the lifeblood of civilization. Flowing through 11 countries, it has shaped economies, fed empires, and been the source of both prosperity and conflict. But now, in the heart of East Africa, one country is making a bold move to control its own future. Ethiopia's Grand Renaissance Dam is the largest hydroelectric project in Africa, a $4.8 billion megastructure designed to reshape the country's energy supply and catapult it into the ranks of economic powerhouses. Standing 145 meters tall and nearly 2 kilometers wide, this dam has the potential to power millions of homes, industrialize Ethiopia, and redefine East Africa's energy landscape. But not everyone is celebrating. Egypt and Sudan are furious. As downstream nations dependent on the Nile, they see the dam as a direct threat to their water supply, a project that could disrupt agriculture, reduce water access, and spark an international crisis. Some have even called it a trigger for a future water war. So is this dam the key to Ethiopia's prosperity, or could it become one of the most dangerous flashpoints in African geopolitics? And beyond the controversy, how does a dam of this size actually get built? Let's dive in. For decades, Ethiopia has been an economic giant with an energy problem. Despite having one of Africa's fastest growing economies, its progress has been severely limited by power shortages. Blackouts are a daily struggle, industrial growth is slowed by unreliable electricity, and nearly half the population still lacks access to power. GERD was built to change all of that. Once fully operational, this hydropower giant will generate 6,450 megawatts of electricity, more than 3 times Ethiopia's current energy production. And this isn't just about keeping the lights on. Ethiopia is positioning itself to become East Africa's energy hub, supplying clean, renewable electricity to neighboring countries like Sudan, Kenya, Djibouti, and even Egypt. If it works as planned, GERD could bring in billions in annual revenue, turning Ethiopia into one of Africa's biggest energy exporters. Beyond just power generation, this dam represents something much bigger for Ethiopia, a symbol of self-reliance and independence. Unlike many large-scale African infrastructure projects, GERD was not funded by foreign loans or international aid. Instead, the Ethiopian government crowdfunded billions from its own people through bond sales, donations, and mandatory salary contributions from citizens. This approach wasn't just about money, it was about national pride. GERD became a unifying symbol, a project that Ethiopians saw as a historic turning point, proving that their country could build world-class infrastructure without depending on external powers. But a dam is only as good as its ability to deliver. So can Ethiopia actually turn this engineering marvel into an economic powerhouse? Or will political tensions, mismanagement, and regional conflicts prevent it from reaching its full potential? Building the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or GERD, wasn't just about stacking concrete. It was about taming one of Africa's most powerful rivers. Situated in a rugged, remote region of Ethiopia, the dam's construction came with immense geological, logistical, and hydrological challenges. Controlling the Blue Nile, a river known for seasonal floods and extreme water pressure, meant engineers had to divert its course before they could even begin the main structure. 2 massive diversion tunnels were built to reroute water, allowing construction to proceed while minimizing the risk of flooding downstream. Timing was critical because one miscalculation could have disrupted water supply to Sudan and Egypt, worsening the already tense diplomatic situation. But rerouting the river was only the first step. The dam needed a reservoir capable of holding 74 billion cubic meters of water. That's a volume so vast it could fill 30 million Olympic swimming pools. Constructing something of this scale in a remote, infrastructure-lacking region was a logistical nightmare. Thousands of tons of materials, from concrete to steel turbines, had to be transported across vast distances, requiring the construction of new roads and temporary worker camps to sustain the workforce. To withstand the colossal water pressure, engineers used roller compacted concrete, or RCC, a highly dense, durable material designed to prevent cracks and leaks. Unlike traditional concrete, RCC allows faster construction, reducing the risks of long-term expansion and contraction caused by fluctuating temperatures. Given Ethiopia's seismic activity, the dam was also reinforced with shock-absorbing joints, ensuring it could survive minor earthquakes without structural failure. The dam's two powerhouses, equipped with 13 massive turbines, will generate 6,450 megawatts of electricity, tripling Ethiopia's power production. But turning that potential into reality requires filling the reservoir, a process that could take up to 7 years. That's where the real conflict begins. The faster Ethiopia fills it, the sooner it starts generating revenue. But that also means less water flowing downstream to Egypt and Sudan. So you can see why those two countries are kind of nervous about this project. GERD is an engineering triumph, but its true test isn't in its concrete or turbines, it's in how Ethiopia manages the delicate balance between energy production and geopolitical tensions. For Egypt and Sudan, the Nile isn't just a river, it's survival. For centuries, this water source has dictated the fate of civilizations, it's fueled economies, and it's sustained millions. But now, Ethiopia has built a colossal dam upstream, capable of controlling the river's flow and dictating just how much water reaches its neighbors. From Ethiopia's perspective, GERD is a long overdue right, a way to harness its own resources and break free from economic dependence on imported energy. But for Egypt, this isn't just about electricity, it's about life itself. The Nile supplies over 90% of Egypt's fresh water, making it the country's only major water source. Any disruption, whether intentional or not, could trigger a water crisis for tens of millions of people. The biggest dispute revolves around how quickly Ethiopia fills GERD's massive reservoir. Ethiopia wants to fill it fast so it can start producing power and boosting its economy. Egypt and Sudan, on the other hand, demand a slower process, fearing that rapid filling could drastically reduce the water levels downstream, crippling agriculture and worsening droughts. For Egypt, the stakes couldn't be higher. A sharp reduction in Nile flow could devastate its farmlands, shrink the fertile regions that have fed its population for generations, and push food prices to unsustainable levels. In Sudan, the concerns are just as urgent. Sudden changes in river flow could lead to flooding, destroy irrigation systems, and disrupt hydropower generation from Sudanese dams. Years of negotiations, summits, and international mediation have failed to resolve the crisis. Egypt has repeatedly called GERD an existential threat, warning that if Ethiopia doesn't agree to strict water management rules, Cairo will be forced to defend its rights by any means necessary. Some Egyptian officials have even hinted at military action, a scenario that could send shockwaves through the entire region. Ethiopia, meanwhile, remains firm. This is their dam, their water, and their right to development. But with tensions still running high and no final agreement in place, the real question isn't whether GERD will generate power. It's whether it will ignite a full-scale water war. For all its controversy, GERD has already started producing electricity, and Ethiopia sees it as a symbol of national pride and self-reliance. Once fully operational, it will bring economic stability, industrial growth, and millions of new jobs. However, there are serious concerns about whether Ethiopia can manage the dam efficiently. Large-scale hydropower projects worldwide have struggled with fluctuating water levels, maintenance issues, and unexpected climate impacts. If Ethiopia doesn't plan properly, GERD might not generate the amount of electricity it promises. There's also the issue of regional cooperation. If Ethiopia, Sudan, and Egypt can't reach a stable water-sharing agreement, tensions could continue for decades, which would affect trade, politics, and even security across North and East Africa. One possible solution? A regional power-sharing agreement that allows Ethiopia to export energy to Egypt and Sudan at competitive rates in exchange for a more cooperative reservoir management strategy. It's a win-win, if the political will exists. But for now, GERD remains a symbol of both ambition and controversy. It's a project that could power Africa's future or deepen old rivalries. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is one of the most ambitious projects Africa has ever seen. It has the power to transform Ethiopia's economy, bring clean energy to millions, and position the country as a leader in hydropower. But it also has the power to spark conflict, create water shortages, and redefine power dynamics in the region. So with all of that said, the biggest question now is, can Ethiopia manage this project without triggering a long-term water crisis for its neighbors? Or will GERD be remembered as a cautionary tale of what happens when infrastructure meets geopolitics? What do you think, though? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's biggest mega projects.